Hi, everyone. First of all, thanks a lot for this wonderful workshop, which comes very good in time and fuses a lot of information from different projects on KPIs and KVIs. It's really appreciated. Thanks a lot for that, for the TrialsNet project, sure, and for all the participants. I am Ioanna Mesogiti from OTE, and in this presentation, we will essentially talk about the role and the activities of the TMV working group. I assume that most of you know this working group. I can see many people already participating in this working group, but I can see also people from projects. This would be a very, very short introduction to see how all this information on KPIs and KVIs can further be channeled into this working group as an umbrella of the 6G SNS work in this field. So the TMV working group is chaired by Michael Diedon and Ioannis Patsouras, and is one of the 3 SNS JU working groups and focuses on promoting essentially the commonalities across SNS projects in the context of KPIs and KVIs definition, validation, and formalization, in order to ensure a unique European vision on how the entire life cycle of 6G, ranging from R&D activities to deployed environments, can be supported, more or less, in order to ensure a common European view coming out of the research activities of this SNS JU program. So, as we have seen from all the presentations today, right now, following the thread from the 5G PPP work program, KPIs are no more a very, very specific technical domain or question to be answered. Instead, it goes beyond and extends to the holistic evaluation and validation of 6G systems by means of impact on key values, and by means of identifying specific KVIs. At the same time, it is of the prioritization of this work program, the reusability of the work and the data, and the sharing of this work and data between the projects of the SNS JU program. So, to this end, the updated terms of reference of the TMV working group have been extended to include not only KPIs definition and validation, but also KVIs and data reusability. To this end, it was decided that the work, in order to be manageable in the context of TME, is segmented into specific topics or subgroups. One of them being 6G KPI definition and monitoring, which has kicked off in March 2024. The second has been the 6G KVI estimation subgroup, which has been kicked off in April 2024 following the SNBC working group. And then there is the test data reusability in SNS, which has been kicked off in March 2024. Just to say that the KVI estimation is moderated and led by Ioannis Patsouras, and the test data reusability in SNS is led by Michael Diedon. And there are 2 more, the analysis of SNS trial results, which has been postponed and will be essentially started in the second half of 2024, as it is related more to the testing and demonstration activities of the projects, and the EMF, electromagnetic EMF, let's say, domain, which has already been postponed. So this working group and sub-working groups essentially meet on a regular basis to perform activities on the relevant topics and collect and spread information between projects, and with the ultimate goal to disseminate and promote some of their key findings in the form of white papers on a regular, let's say, basis, for instance, annually. Okay. Just to put the light on the 6G KPI definition and monitoring topic, the main focus of this working group is to update and extend the 6G KPIs families. First of all, these that have been already defined in the past 5G PPP working group and published in the 2 previous white papers, and to update and extend also the 6G KPI monitoring methodology, again presented in the last white paper of 5G PPP, and to cross-validate the findings in the definition and testing of the KPIs, of the 6G KPIs, with EU and global efforts in the field. And in order to achieve this, we need the working group needs to engage all possible SNS projects in this direction in order to provide feedback and contribute to this vision. So right now we are in the first phase of the update, extension, and cross-validation of the 6D KPIs definitions and target values. And this work plan has been segmented into phases, the first one being currently running, which is the collection information. So all SNS projects and TMV members have been asked to provide the input on KPIs, definitions, and monitoring methodologies. And this work is open to all running SNS project and is running, it's an ongoing phase with an initial deadline towards the end of May. The second phase is the processing of the information and the generation of all these results, where TMV members are currently processing the information coming from the standardization and global efforts, and will work further on cross-validating the input that will come from the SNS project with this. And the next phase would be essentially the editing of a white paper where the findings of this work and a summary of all the SNSJU projects and KPIs work will be disseminated. And essentially, finally, the publication of the white paper. We target June 2024, but given the fact that this working group has essentially started on March, this can be postponed if the contributions exceed the time and the effort needed to aggregate and produce meaningful results. So for now, just a general view of what is the information that is usually requested by the SNS projects. By the SNS project are asked to provide input on the KPIs, not only the KPIs in terms of name, but their definitions, because across over the lifetime of the 5G PPP working group, we have there has been observed that many projects provide the same name, but the underlying KPI definition is overloaded with different meanings. So we need to capture the KPIs family, the context in which these KPIs are provided and observed and defined and will be measured, okay? And finally, the target values that are provided by its SNS JU projects, along with any comparison statements if there has been already work done cross-validating the specific target values with existing standards. For instance, any discrepancies may come from the KPI referring to different layers or network segments or to different vertical services. The outcome would be of this work would be, first of all, to enforce collaboration between projects, not only in terms of the definitions, but in terms of actual work. And through the processing of the information coming from all the projects, we will identify matches and gaps in the definition and evaluation of KPIs in the context of the SNSJU projects. And we can further extend, elaborate, and nail down the global 6G KPIs in the context of use case and the proof of concepts. Most of you are already aware that right now the 6G KPIs are available from some of the 6 KPIs values and targets and definitions are available from standardization organizations and global visions, but essentially the target values, some of the KPIs and some of the target values need to be nailed down on a per use case basis, and this is expected by the SDO. So this work is of high value to the further work on the 6G community. And this work, of course, will be published and further channeled to the appropriate audiences. So, to conclude, all SNSJU projects are encouraged to participate in the TMV working group KPIs topics, because this work will be really valuable and will further progress the work in the 6G domain. With this, I give the floor to Ioannis Patsouras to follow up with the KVI part, since he's already leading the KVIs topic.
Thank you very much, Ioanna. So, as mentioned before, we are a new subgroup. We actually had our kickoff a few days ago. We follow the mandate of the TMB working group established in January this year to address KVI validation-related issues. So, our scope is to focus on the estimation and validation methodologies for KVIs, not the definition topics, because these have been already handled by the framework from the societal and value creation subgroups and working group. As a case of approaching the validation methodology, it could be through measurements, through mapping the KPI requirements. Today, we have heard a lot of information, especially from Stream B projects, but also from Stream B projects, about the KPIs that they are targeting and the approaches. It is within our scope to define metrics and target values when possible. Of course, we will need to engage all SNS projects addressing KPIs, so also Stream C projects. And as it is customary, we will try to reach a destination of producing one white paper on that can be used as a reference for future on KVI, 6G KVI estimation. In the next slide, we have an indicative work plan. Of course, we are just entering the phase of collecting information from all projects. We will align with the work of the societal value creation and sustainability subgroups. We are kicking off bi-weekly meetings with all TMB working group project members starting in June. And in order to collect information, we will address the request to all the projects. And internally now, we are considering establishing a template for collecting information. Once this is something that we have in a form that can be distributed, we will share that with all projects. But of course, this will be a work in progress, because depending on the level of detail that each project can provide and the understanding for each project, we will have to adapt our recording of information. This will lead us to a second phase where we will need to process and analyze the collected information. And as already mentioned, we hope to arrive towards the end of the year to a white paper. I cannot say more about the exact focus of the paper and whether it will be a shorter or a longer paper, because this needs to be addressed a few months from now, when we have already collected some information and have identified the way forward on analyzing this and on recommending, if it is possible, to recommend something out of the whole information that is going to be collected and out of the analysis. So this was a brief introduction to our KVI subgroup. Invitations will be circulated, and today I realized that there is a lot of work already being carried out and planned to be carried out. So I think we will have a lot of things to consider. Thank you very much.
Ioanna, I think that you are muted.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Okay, just a few logistic information related to the membership of this working group. This working group is open to representatives of ongoing SNS JU projects, and completed SNS project can be further invited, but is limited to organizations from projects that have fully signed up to now the SNS collaboration agreement. Each member is invited to nominate one or two representatives to contribute to this work. And considering also, as stated also in the terms of reference, additional observers or experts can be invited to this working group by the chairperson on a need basis. If you are not already participating, as I said, I can see many of the partners already having providing this valuable input also to the TMV working group. So if you are not already a member and you would like to express your interest, please contact Michael Diodon and Ioannis Patsouras in order to be subscribed to this working group. And we are happy to have more projects, SNS projects on board in order to produce and have this unified European vision on KPIs. Thanks a lot for now for this presentation.
Thank you, Ioanna. Yeah.
And stop sharing.
Okay, so I think that we have still 20 minutes to go. I would suggest for the last session, but of course I'm open for further, let's say, hints. We can just go through quickly if there are any questions, because I went, I didn't went to the, let's say, to the chat. So I saw a message from Didier that was highlighting about white paper. Anyway, something related to the methodology for KVIs. And yes, I think that on this point we are almost all aligned on the fact that especially for the KVIs, it looks that each project has its own way to address this topic, even if the bases are almost common. So the point will be really, and I think that Ioanna, this is a task of a TMV working group, really to build up activities really in order to define a common methodology, or anyway a shared methodology between the different projects. I don't know if Ioannis, you have some more feedbacks on what you see on the presentation here.
This level of trust KVI also attracted my attention, and we're looking forward to addressing this and discussing also how this is going to be assessed and validated. It is one of the 6G related topics. There are a lot of 6G new or transfer from 5G related KPIs, but also for KVIs like this one, we are looking forward to having lots of information and discussion about this. To the extent that common methodologies will become possible, we need to see.
Yes, I didn't catch very well exactly, let's say, the last part. There was some background noise, but thank you for your intervention.
I apologize for the background.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Just to complement that, the work
sure.
of the KVIs will for sure leverage on the work that was performed in the SNSVC. And we can see also people that have already contributed to the work on KVIs. So this is also an open question, an open invitation for the KVIs working group to subscribe, since it is right now kicked off with Mr. Ioannis.
Yeah. At the moment, how many, let's say, maybe I missed the point, you already have some calls already, which is the status of, let's say, the project that are actually subscribed to the working group?
For the KPIs, there has been a progress, and right now the work group has already performed 5 bi-weekly calls. So
Okay.
the status is the one explained in the presentation.
Yeah.
We have already released the call. For the KVIs, I give the floor to Ioannis.
For the KVIs subgroup, we just had our kickoff, so we are starting. We are in the very end.
Okay. Thank you.
A short comment from my side, sorry to mix in.
Yes, Stefan, please.
As you know, the SNVC group is getting a new lead, as Gustav stopped the lead. This will be Maria and myself. and we will do a kickoff for this SNVC group in June. We will invite soon for that, and then we will go in this coordination regarding this KPI work, which is very much related to you, Ioanna and Ioannis. So let's coordinate then as well as with some others who are working there on basis of the paper which was just coming out.
Perfect.
Very good, thank you. So I would suggest, I see that the chat is going to be with some other questions. So about, this is a more a logistical one about the slides workshop is available. There is, yes, I published here the link to the BSCV server. I think that I will ask to Kostas if it will be possible to make the slides available also for the community that is outside let's say the SNSJU, since the access to this repository, of course, is just restricted to the project. So this is I don't think that the slides cover any confidential information. So it would be really good to spread the word around. Anyway, I will contact Kostas on this. Then, okay, there were a couple. There were a couple of, a question directly for privateer and SafeSigG. How do you determine access the level of trust, end-to-end or by any algorithm? So I saw that there, maybe if you would like to elaborate a little bit more on this by voice, would be nice.
Yes, I can start. I'm sorry for the background noise, but I'm also in another workshop. In our case, essentially the level of trust, there is a level of trust assessment framework in Privateer. It's based on a fuzzy logic algorithm that monitors specific metrics. For example, it's based, let's say, on a set of different metrics. These come, for example, from proof of transit results. They come from attestation results. They may also employ anomaly detection results. So essentially, you gather these metrics and you build this framework based on fuzzy logic that provides some results as linguistic values. And we're also moving forward to the release A of the framework, and more details will be published in very, very soon in our deliverable 4.1, which is going to be available for publication. So you can also see more details there. From our side, it's UCM that's leading the level of trust assessment activity, and Dr. Jesus Alonso Lopez, who is also the work package 4 leader on the orchestration. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Maria. And then I see here that was also the answer from Daniel for SafeSigG. Maybe you can just, let's say, further elaborate a second, if you can. I don't know if
Daniel... Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Yes, more or less what I've said. It's quite soon for us to elaborate on the question, but the idea is the brain of SafeSigG framework is going to question and is going to assess each one of the functions, each one of the pillars of the framework, which is the level of trust they are going to assess in that field. I mean, if we are going to get a number from safety, a number from security function, and so on. And then it will be the cognitive coordinator, the one who will aggregate somehow the overall score of the level of trust. Okay, but it's a bit soon for us to elaborate on the algorithm that we're going to use.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay, I'm just following here the chat. So there is also a question from Margot Bezzi about, I don't know if it was already covered or not, but anyway, it can be useful to repeat it. So
yes, it was covered. Yeah. It was covered.
Okay,
yeah.
That's perfect. Okay. And then there is Marco Gramaglia that asked for the floor for a question.
Yes, I have a question, or probably a request for a suggestion to all. So from the presentation we had this morning, I saw that basically the KVI topic is addressed in different ways. So I see that there is a cluster of projects, mainly Stream D, that have basically a wider audience and then can really go and ask for feedback, questionnaires, and measure the impact of the value indicators. Okay, so this is very high details on the KVI. Then I saw that there are some Stream B projects that have some vertical use cases already on board, so that they can hence validate the value indicator via a vertical application, so they can see if the KPI could match there. And then there is a set of Stream B projects that are more, let's say, oriented towards architectural definition or algorithmic definition, which are basically more limited on this topic. I'm asking this question because, I mean, this is the problem we face with origami. So I don't know if from TMB leads or by other projects, if you have suggestion for possible synergies or for methodology we can follow to pursue this objective on the different levels.
Thank you, Marco. I mean, this is definitely a good point, because the idea of this workshop was exactly to start in that way. So now it was, I mean, it was usually quite difficult really to understand what the other projects are doing, just going through the deliverables. So I think that this event was exactly going in the direction to help to set up the activities. And at the same time, there is during the next technical board meeting that will take place in Antwerp after the UCNC, one of the main topics that will be discussed will be exactly how to create and which are the opportunities for collaboration between the projects. So this is definitely a point on the table. Of course, it depends also on the topic, and here we are definitely more focused on KPIs and KVIs. So it will be really up to the projects to be, at least my perspective, to be quite proactive. For sure, we should rely on the working groups of the different topics to lead or anyway to facilitate this type of collaboration. It would be great if the collaboration will be not just in terms of contribution to white paper. I think that the best result we could aim at is really to create a collaboration in terms of really trial or anyway POC activities. That would be definitely a results that it's quite rare to be seen in this huge context. So anyway, I think that there is all the interest from the TB and anyway SNSGU to go in such direction. It's not a simple task, I think, but that's the idea that everyone has in mind. So I'm sure that during the next discussion, during the meetings, we will be able to find a way to address in the most proper way this point. I don't know if there are some comments on this.
Just to add, I mean, you covered it perfectly, Alessandro. Just to add that right now the work in the TMV, the meetings are held on a bi-weekly basis. So there is, which is quite as frequent as usual project telcos. So for sure, this is a good opportunity to bring all the ideas and to work on the KPIs very, very into the detail, besides just asking once for input and summarizing or copying and pasting input from various projects. But for sure, there is also an inherent difficulty in aligning the KPIs because many projects refer to different network segments and different network layers and even have different perspectives of KPIs. But I think this is the value of the work of having multiple projects because through the pluralism of the definitions, we will build on top of nailing down the very, very global target values and very, very abstract ones. And this is what is already also asked from the SDOs and the global activities. Okay, so thanks for the comment. It's very, very helpful. Right now, it's solved through the biweekly meetings. And as the work of the TMV KPIs working group will evolve, it's a good suggestion that you brought into the table to have not only meetings and exchange of ideas in the definition, but also later on in the monitoring, in the measurement, and also in the demonstration activities for the evaluation ones.
Yes, thanks for the comment. I was also interested in the KVI framework because I mean, especially if a project doesn't have a real scenario with application, so it's difficult to evaluate the impact on a value. I don't know if maybe we are thinking of clustering the values that more or less I think every project can do. So trust, sustainability, economical viability, and then set up a kind of let's say exchange between project that can contribute to values, but they don't have any means to measure probably, or limited means to measure an indicator, and then projects that can measure an indicator because they are attached to real use cases with real environment. And then I don't know, try to find an abstraction of what if scenario. I don't know, throwing some idea there.
Marco, these are all very good suggestions. I hope you will participate in the meetings that are going to start happening so that we can make this work happen.
If I can just jump in, Marco, it's a really, really fabulous question and something that I was wondering as well, like how do you validate a societal KPI when there's no use case per se or no people around it? And is technical trust the same as societal trust? Questions like this, we need to understand what we're doing with these and how we group them and which projects can do which, and be clear about these definitions and therefore what an appropriate measurement is. There's a CSA that's 5 months in called 6G for Society, whose focus specifically is on actually trying to understand what's going on at the KVIs across the project and help elaborate this. So I'm part of that project as well. So we'll be trying to follow up with that and might actually follow up with you specifically to think this through, because I think your questions are really right on target. And Ioannis as well, if there's a way that we can support that and understand that as well, because these are really important questions. Yeah.
Yes, because I mean, I think that if we are working on a deeply in a specific technical topic like run virtualization, then scaling that towards real world, I mean, there's a delta in the TRL that sometimes makes difficult that the evaluation is compelling. So I know that it will be some abstraction somehow. But yeah, definitely initiatives in that sense would be really helpful to understand the potential of our solution.
Thank you, Marco. I see that Hassan right at the end. Please, Hassan.
Thanks, Alex. So just to chip in about what Marco mentioned about whether we have a real use case or not. Well, sometimes we do have a real use case, but it is still difficult to assess the key value indicator. So it's not straightforward sometimes. It is sometimes straightforward. It depends on the use case that you are dealing with. The key value that you are dealing with and the key value indicator. So I guess it depends on a case-by-case basis, and probably talking about one unique framework across probably one project or several projects, for example, stream B and stream D might be very difficult. I mean, there are several framework or methodology that could be applied to assess key value, and all are proposed on the table. So it is, I think it is not a negative point, it's a positive point to have several opinion and several framework. Which one is the best probably might be decided later, but it is a little bit complex process that probably need to go through and follow. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Hassan, for your comment. I don't know if there are any other questions, at least not in the chat. Patrick, you have some comments on what you have seen today? I mean, XAX2 is quite an important project here, so it would be nice to have your opinion as well.
Yeah, it's been a wide range of use case and KPIs and KVIs, and I see many projects are using this 6GIA methods for the KVIs, which XAX2 is also working on. So I think there are many synergies between the projects, and going forward, I think we need to find commonalities and where we can complement each other.
Thank you very much, Patrick. So I would say if there are no other questions, maybe it's time to close the workshop. We almost used all the time that we have here. Maybe we'll be able even to finish 2 minutes earlier. On my side, again, thank you to all for participating, providing your presentations, and it was really, really appreciated. I think that we will have occasion to meet again. Next time will be for sure UCNC. And with that, just wishing you all the best and good for the good progress of your projects as well as the SNGU community. Thank you very much.